Welcome to the Eye Opener. I'm your host, Michael Lewis. President Trump was acquitted from the second impeachment. It is a win for the American people, but President Trump is still not safe. It's official. Biden is attempting to infringe on our Second Amendment rights. Parler is back, but not without challenges. Okay, my friends, let's dive into the truth together. As you know, the most important thing that happened this weekend was the acquittal of former President Trump for the second impeachment on Saturday, February 13th. Although, like the first time, this second impeachment was based on completely unfounded allegations against Trump. The victory is nonetheless significant because it is victory for the American people. I will explain why in just a bit. Let's review some key moments from what can be only called a circus show. As we have explained in our previous episodes, this impeachment is against the Constitution and against the First Amendment. Everyone knows that. But the Democrats are desperate to prevent Trump from running for president again, so they are willing to break laws and blatantly go against the Constitution. They knew their chance of success was slim, but they pushed ahead anyways. They thought that they had control of both the Congress and the Senate, so even if they couldn't convict Trump, they could at least humiliate him through a show trial. All Democrat senators voted for the impeachment, and 7 Republican senators betrayed the party and voted to impeach the former president. But what they probably didn't expect was for the trial to fail so quickly and for them to be humiliating themselves. You know, the main accusation they were using in the impeachment is the speech Trump gave at the D.C. rally on January 6th. In order for them to create the illusion that the speech incited the riot at the Capitol, Democrats selectively edited a film to support this argument. They alleged that Trump's words, "If you don't fight like hell, you are not going to have a country anymore," had encouraged people to resist with violence. Not only did they happen to forget that Trump explicitly asked his supporters on January 6th rally speech to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. They have also forgotten that they themselves said similar words on too many occasions. Let me show you the clip from Trump's defense team.
Democrats are going to fight like hell.
We fight like hell.
I'm going to fight like hell.
We're going to fight like hell.
And I know many other senators and members of the House will fight like hell.
We are going to fight like hell.
We're going to fight like hell.
We're going to fight like hell.
So according to the Democrats' standard, should they be accountable for the many violent scenes that happened last summer, when BLM and Antifa were looting and burning down buildings with complete immunity from mainstream media and the Democrats? Let me refresh your memory when Ali Velshi from MSNBC attempted to downplay the riots. Let's take a look.
Can't get in here. There is no ability to bring anybody in here to solve this problem. So I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not generally speaking unruly, but fires have been started, and there's a crowd that is relishing that. There is a deep sense of grievance and complaint here.
Then things get even more ridiculous. In our previous episode, we have already talked about Eric Swalwell, someone who fell into China's honey trap as one of the House impeachment managers that in itself is already an insult to the House. But last week's show trial made it clear that it meant way more than that. On February 10th, during Swalwell's remark, he used a tweet of Jennifer Lynn Lawrence, a Christian conservative activist, as evidence that Trump supporters had brought armed force on January 6th to support the former president. But Swalwell did 2 things that had blown people's minds. First, Swalwell showed a verified Twitter account of Jennifer Lawrence, but Lawrence herself later confirmed that her Twitter account has never been verified. So it must be that Swalwell faked the verification to add credibility for his argument. What's more, in Lawrence's original tweet, quoted by Swalwell, it reads, "We are bringing the Calvary, Mr. President. Calvary means the power of Jesus Christ," and Lawrence was referring to a prayer vigil. In fact, Jennifer Lawrence did hold a prayer event at Freedom Plaza on January 5th, but Eric Swalwell, as the impeachment House manager, had clearly done zero due diligence for his work. He misunderstood Calvary as cavalry, which we all know are soldiers on horseback. Swalwell could have had the decency to at least ask Fang Fang to read over and double-check his manipulated tweet. In the past 4 years, the Democrats have been doctoring evidence repeatedly to impeach a widely successful and beloved president, and to do it against the Constitution. What a shame. This is not only a shame to those who were pushing the impeachment, it is also a disgrace to all Americans as voters, as well as the United States as a country. The whole world is watching, and the whole world is laughing. But being caught doctoring evidence was not the only reason why the impeachment had failed so quickly. On the morning of the 13th, Democrats considered dragging out the trial by passing a motion to bring witnesses to the case. But after Trump's lawyers presented a list of over 300 witnesses that they can call to testify, including the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, the Democrats quickly gave up the idea. Bringing in witnesses would only expose more of their ugly deals and to prove that the January 6th incident was actually a setup to interfere with the electoral vote certification process and discourage lawmakers to challenge the results. Moreover, they probably realized more clearly than before that if this impeachment of an out-of-office president was proceeded further and succeeded, then all past presidents or any past government officials could face the same. And they know how dark of a history many of them have. After having failed to prove President Trump ever had any speech on January 6th or even before that date that could encourage riots, the impeachment managers claimed that Trump's unacceptance of the election and speaking of the election being stolen alone already constitute riot-inciting actions. For this, here's another video clip from Trump's defense team.
I object to the votes from the state of Wisconsin, which should not be legally signed.
I object to the certificate from the state of Georgia.
I object to the certificate from the state of North Carolina.
I object to the certificate from the state of Alabama. The electors were not lawfully certified.
Aside from the good laughs, the impeachment was clearly political persecution against Trump, and exactly because of this, the victory didn't come easy. What truly saved the case, besides Trump's defense team on the trial, it was the unwavering heart and support from the people that played a big role. After Trump left the White House, one phenomenon has caught the attention of both sides. Trump's approval rating remains high and has even increased. This has been reported by multiple media, including the left wings. For example, the Associated Press quoted a poll conducted by Gallup that showed Trump had an 82% approval rating among all respondents who identified themselves as Republican supporters. CNN, on the other hand, analyzed that most Republicans support Trump from the bottom of their hearts, embrace his policies, or believe that Trump's words and actions are not enough to be impeached. For example, a CBS poll shows that only 10% of Republicans think Trump is responsible for the Capitol Hill incident on January 6. Another poll shows that 46% of Republicans, almost half, think that loyalty to Trump is important to the Republican Party. And in a recent survey, around 70% of Republican voters said that they would be willing to join or consider joining a new party if Trump were to form one. After the House impeachment vote, all Republican House members who voted for impeachment faced a huge backlash from voters in their own districts. Elected Republicans who publicly opposed Trump in the flawed second impeachment will not only be criticized by the people, they will also risk their seats in the 2022 midterm elections. Therefore, we see people like GOP Senator leader Mitch McConnell as a public critic of Trump, voting against the impeachment as well. So I would say that it is the unwavering hearts and voices of support from the American people, in addition to Trump's legal team's excellent presentation of facts and arguments, that truly saved the situation. On that note, I would once again like to thank all of you who have joined me on the journey of truth. And I would like to ask you for your support in liking and sharing the video so more people can see it. And if you're enjoying the content, please donate and support the show. Our donor box link is in the description. Once again, thank you all very much, and let's get back into the show. So in summary, the acquittal was a victory of the Constitution, the truth, and the voices of the people. However, this is only a phased victory. The issue is far from resolved. Trump is not totally safe yet. We'll get into that, but first, let's go over Trump's reaction to the result. After the Senate voted to acquit former President Donald Trump, his son Donald Trump Jr. celebrated the victory on Twitter by saying, "When the establishment hates you and wants to prevent you from ever running again, you know you're doing something right." And Donald Trump Jr. hit them hard with this last tweet. He said, "Great week. Trump beats impeachment. Dems in disarray. Lincoln Project burnt to the ground. The rhinos in the GOP establishment exposed and collapsing. Cuomo and Dem govs in freefall. the media depressed and lashing out at Dems for their impeachment fail. Hashtag MAGA ascending again. Former President Trump also issued a long statement thanking his lawyers and lawmakers who voted to defend the truth. At the same time, Trump emphasized once again that the United States is grounded on the rule of law and that it is unacceptable for one party to turn justice into a matter of political vengeance. Trump said in his letter, "It is a sad commentary on our times that one political party in America is given a free pass to denigrate the rule of law, defame law enforcement, cheer mobs, excuse rioters, and transform justice into a tool of political vengeance, and persecute, blacklist, cancel, and suppress all people and viewpoints with whom or which they disagree. I always have and always will be a champion for the unwavering rule of law, the heroes of law enforcement, and the right of Americans to peacefully and honorably debate the issues of the day without malice and without hate." Trump is also optimistic for the future. He said in his statement, "Our historic, patriotic, and beautiful movement to make America great again has only just begun. In the months ahead, I have much to share with you, and I look forward to continuing our incredible journey together to achieve American greatness for all of our people. There has never been anything like it." Senator Lindsey Graham said he had talked to President Trump after the impeachment vote and that the former president is ready to move on and rebuild the Republican Party and excited about 2022. Graham will be traveling to Florida next week to meet with Trump, saying that he wants to take back the Senate in 2022 and that party needs Trump to achieve that goal. Graham said, "We can't do it without Donald Trump, so he's ready to hit the trail and I'm ready to work with him." Former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows also revealed Trump's political plan on the 11th. He said Trump continues to put America first, but he also plans to stay in the arena. As for forming a new party, Trump's aides previously denied this. On January 28th, House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy also went to meet with Trump at his Mar-a-Lago resort. President Trump's popularity has never been stronger than it is today, and his endorsement means perhaps more than any endorsement at any time. The Trump team also said that President Trump has agreed to work with Leader McCarthy on helping the Republican Party to become a majority in the House. However, Trump's son, Donald Trump Jr., recently urged Republicans to step up and address the issue of election integrity, or the GOP will never win another election. After the Capitol incident, Republican voters can clearly see who remained loyal to Trump and who had betrayed him. If Trump agrees to help the GOP to reclaim the majority in 2022, people will keep a close eye on the likes of Liz Cheney, Ben Sasse, Bill Cassidy, and some others who are name-only Republicans, and how the two-faced McConnell will interact with Trump. But at least you can be sure that in addition to some Republican politicians, the majority of American voters, Trump supporters, will still firmly support Trump's MAGA movement. The Senate trial of the second impeachment is over and Trump has been acquitted. However, this does not necessarily mean Trump is now worry-free. According to Newsmax, Professor Alan Dershowitz of Harvard Law School commented that although the trial has ended with an acquittal, he's still not clear what the outcome of the impeachment for Trump is. He specifically mentioned that there are still many different forces going after Trump, including prosecutors from Georgia, Washington, D.C., and New York. The professor said the last Saturday was a good day for the Constitution, but might not be a good day for Trump. The aftermath may still keep Trump busy for the next few months. Here, we want to go back and talk about Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. McConnell is the #1 contradictory figure in the second impeachment Senate trial. On one hand, as the leader of the Republicans in the Senate, he voted against the impeachment, but he then turned around and gave at least a 20-minute long speech to slam Trump, holding him accountable for challenging the integrity of the 2020 election and inciting the violence on the Capitol. McConnell had completely ignored the excellent defense of Trump's lawyers that proved the former president did not instigate the breach of the Capitol building on January 6. So the question now is, why did McConnell do that? We need to take a few steps back here so that we can get the context. Until December 14th last year, Mitch McConnell had been a supporter for Donald Trump's legal battle to challenge the election results. But after the Electoral College votes were signed and submitted on the 14th, Seeing that the possibility of turning the election was pretty much gone, McConnell made a sharp turn. On the 15th, he acknowledged Biden's victory and issued a warning to Republican senators not to resist the election results. Immediately, McConnell's reputation among conservatives plummeted, and he was called a traitor by many. But McConnell seemed to be determined to sacrifice his reputation for something else. In January, McConnell didn't defend Trump. Rather, he was among the most vocal critics of the former president within the party, accusing Trump for inciting the riots on the Capitol. Why did Mitch McConnell behave like this? McConnell entered the Senate House in 1985. He has seated on the Senate over 6 U.S. presidents. Mitch McConnell is an absolute veteran politician with the GOP in Congress. McConnell probably knows better than anyone else the importance to please both the right and the left. He is a sophisticated politician who knows how to preserve himself under any political situation to pave the way for the future. Since Trump's loss became imminent and the Democrats were about to take back the Congress, McConnell shifted to cooperate with the Democrat majority. When it comes to the impeachment, it was also clear that it was impossible for the Senate to reach 2/3 required votes to reach a conviction. But McConnell also knows in his heart that the insults on Donald Trump will continue beyond the second impeachment attempt. As a way out of his first voted against the impeachment, for he wanted to protect the Constitution, and immediately after, he blamed Trump. McConnell seemed to have found himself a safe solution. Is it really because people like McConnell care so much about the Constitution that they voted against the impeachment? Very few people would believe so. If these politicians really cared about the Constitution, shouldn't the integrity of the election results be protected by the Constitution as well? How could they possibly oppose Trump's legal challenge to investigate the election results? Their arguments are simply incoherent. How can we let these politicians know that people want to hear the truth, not biased media narratives or censored opinions on social media platforms? This is not an issue of left or right, liberal or conservative. Americans have long been tired of the political bias coverage in mainstream media for too long. Every good-hearted American is able to make up their own mind if they are given the truth. And Americans do want the country to be great again. It is not a captivating slogan that made President Trump popular. Trump has put his words into action to truly make the country great. Attorney Michael Van der Veen in Trump's defense team has spoken the mind of many Americans.
I'm tired of the biased media on both sides, left and right. What this country wants, what this country needs, is this country to come together, to take the left and the right and find a middle ground and start responsibly being our public officials, our elected officials.
Now, let's look at some of the other news that happened in the past weekend. On Sunday, February 14th, Joe Biden made it official to tighten up gun control in America. What Americans have feared for started to come true. The gun ownership rights protected by the Second Amendment may get more restricted under Biden. Biden's comment came in a statement on the 3rd anniversary of the February 14th shooting at Parkland High School, where a student entered the campus with an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle on February 14, 2018. He proceeded to kill 17 people and injured 17 others in an incident that shocked the nation. During the Trump administration, appropriate measures were taken to ensure school safety across the United States, including the installation of additional alarm systems in schools, and Trump even proposed allowing some teachers to carry guns invisibly. But this was resisted by the left. Their focus is not on the person committing the crime, but on the guns in people's hands. Biden called on Congress to strengthen gun control laws, to do background checks on all gun sales, to remove immunity for gun manufacturers, to ban the manufacture and sale of assault weapons, and to disallow the production of high-capacity magazines, and to buy back those who already have such high-capacity magazines or assault weapons. That is, to take them out of people's hands. Biden's choice for Attorney General, Merrick Garland, has also been a consistent advocate of infringing on Second Amendment rights for decades. The father of one of the Parkland shooting victims thanked people for their thoughts and concerns in an interview with Biden, while stressing that it was wrong to focus on the weapons and that the killer had planned to attack the campus, by which he meant that even if he didn't have a gun, the killer would have used something else to launch the attack. Former President of the United States, Ronald Reagan, was also shot and fortunately survived. Reagan's words after the shooting became a classic among gun owners. Reagan was shot, then said to the public, "Guns don't kill people, people kill people." In the United States, the issue of gun control has been a bipartisan debate. Republicans generally support gun ownership, and Democrats advocate restrictions. Not to mention the far left, a total ban on guns would make them more and more happy. What Americans are most worried about is that the left will not ban guns all at once, but will make them move in that direction step by step, eventually turning the people into defenseless little lambs without guns. Now, I really appreciate how Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton responded. He said, "Biden won't undo the Second Amendment in Texas on my watch." According to the National File, the Newton County, Missouri Board of Commissioners this month passed the Newton County Second Amendment Preservation Act, which comprehensively protects the gun rights of Newton County citizens. The bill declares all federal acts, laws, orders, rules, and regulations passed by the federal government, and specifically any presidential administration, whether past, present, or future, which infringe on the people's right to keep and bear arms as guaranteed by the Second Amendment, shall be invalid in the county, shall not be recognized by this county and specifically rejected by this county, and shall be considered null and void and of no effect in this county. The legislation also states that any and all federal agents trying to enforce the regulations listed in Section 1 shall be subject to arrest by the Newton County, Missouri Sheriff's Department, and the Newton County, Missouri Sheriff Department shall be given the full authority to make the arrest of any and all federal agents that violate state laws and enforce the regulations listed in Section 1. The Missouri Constitution clearly states the right of every citizen to keep and bear arms, ammunition, and accessories typical to the normal function of such arms in defense of his home, person, family, property, or when lawfully summoned in aid of the civil power shall not be questioned. All right, time for some good news. PARLER, which was hanged by leftist corporations for failing to address violent speech after the Capitol Hill incident on January 6, resumed service on February 15th. John Matz, PARLER's previous CEO, has been fired by the company's board of directors and is now being replaced by Rebecca Mercer, a former member of the Tea Party. According to a company statement, existing PARLER users will be able to log in from the 15th, while new users may not be able to register until next week. Now, PARLER is back in operations because they found a new server after they were thrown out by Amazon's web service. But PARLER's troubles have not been lifted. They are still fighting with Amazon. Apple and Google have not reinstated PARLER in their App Store either. However, whenever you're able to log in, please follow me at EyeOpenerMike on PARLER. Let's end this episode on a high note. Donald Trump Jr. posted on his Telegram some videos that I'd like you to see.
Hey guys, thought you want to check this out. This is pretty awesome. We got a plane flying a Valentine's Day card for my father above Mar-a-Lago. Thought you guys would appreciate this because it's funny as heck.
Then on February 15th, President Day, Trump was greeted with another flying message above, which said, "We love Trump. The best is yet to come."
Check him out up there. I think you'll appreciate this one as much as I did. The best is yet to come.
Many Trump supporters from all over rushed to West Palm Beach, Florida for a huge President Day celebration for President Trump. People held American flags and Trump flags, chanting USA. Right Side Broadcast Network has a 3-hour live stream of it. I will put a link below so you can take a look at it when you have time. Here I just wanted to show you a highlight of it, which is around 2:20 p.m. in the afternoon. Trump's motorcade drove slowly through the gathering and Trump waved through the car window, which made the whole crowd very, very happy. Well, that's it for today, my friends. Please like and share, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.